So please take a moment to put on your blindfold. We'll be doing this practice sitting up. And this time we're going to just do the mindfulness practice of following the breath more briefly than usual. So we'll do this for about 5 minutes and then do the contemplation on the control fallacy. So we'll move very quickly through the stages of first checking your head posture, balance to relax the neck, torso, balance over the hips so that the back muscles are as relaxed as possible, allowing your spine's natural curvature to keep you upright. Allowing the eyes to be open or closed, whichever requires the least amount of effort. Softening the jaw, unclenching the teeth. Softening the heart. Softening your hands. Softening your pelvic floor, releasing any clenching down there. And softening the feet and the toes. As you inhale, allow your belly to become flexible and loose so that it expands when you breathe in, and then contracts or moves inward gently as you exhale. And we can take 3 extra large breaths now together to improve the flexibility of the belly. So breathing in and out, feeling the internal massage of the belly. Breathing in, breathing out. One more time, breathing in, breathing out. And then breathing normally. Tap into the pleasant sensations that arise in the belly from breathing this way. That physically it feels nice. So tap into that sensation. And finally we put a gentle smile on our face and see how that feels nice as well. The enjoyable sensation spreads through the face, down past the throat, into the chest and beyond. So very quickly into the session, we're tuning in to the enjoyable sensations in the body, from breathing in a relaxing way, smiling, checking any areas of potential tension and inviting them to soften. And finally, holding the intention that we will rest the majority of our attention on the sensation of the breath moving in and out of the body. So just following the sensations of the breath. And allowing thought to move freely in the back of our mind, not paying it any attention, but not trying to change it or stop it or anything. It's in the background, but in the foreground is in the sensation of breathing itself and the pleasurable sensations from smiling and allowing the belly to move. So we'll continue this for a few more minutes quietly before moving to the next stage. When we release our baggage, so to speak, all we have to do is let go, and all the weight is gone instantly. So it's possible to relax very quickly at the start of the meditation center with practice. It doesn't have to be a gradual, slow process of relaxing when you've practiced regularly. So I'll be silent again, but keep that in mind that in a moment you can fully relax, and with every breath relax deeper and deeper, allowing your body to soften, to loosen, to release. And the softer you become, the easier it is to keep your attention on the feeling of the in-breath and the out-breath. So let's do this for 2 more minutes. Just let go. And continue relaxing this way as I begin to give the instructions for the next phase of this session. Now we're going to contemplate the control fallacy, one of the cognitive distortions. And there are 3 different control fallacies we're going to address in this session. The first one has to do with believing we have more control of a situation than we actually do. We can probably recall several times when we thought we had control, but we didn't really when we looked deeply into it. In this session, we'll use an example from your past. And it's often easiest to think of a situation where you were hurt by someone else. And after they hurt you, though, you felt guilty. You felt like you caused this event to occur, that you are to blame for what happened, that it's your fault. This is a version of the control fallacy that you take on full responsibility, even mentally punishing yourself with an overwhelming amount of guilt as a way of retaining control over the situation. And it's a way of trying to curb the amount of pain that actually was caused to you. That if you can at least feel like you had total control, it won't hurt that bad, or that that person didn't actually control you, that it was your choice, not theirs. And somehow we believe that that can staunch the pain, but truly it doesn't in the long term. And we develop chronic negative beliefs about the event that occurred, and we never return the responsibility to the true owner. So think now of an event that occurred to you anytime in your past, or maybe even in the present, where you were hurt. And maybe you tended to take responsibility, or you feel guilty to some degree about what happened. Maybe it's something that affects the way you behave with others. And for the next couple of minutes, contemplate the event and try to redetermine what the real cause of the pain was that was done to you. Did you truly invite it? Did you ask for it to enter your life? Were you welcoming to this pain, to this action that was done to you? Or did someone of their own accord choose to do whatever it is they did to you, consciously or subconsciously? Maybe it was the case that they saw an opportunity spontaneously, or they planned it out. This could be a rivalry at work. It could be something personal. It could be an emotional attack, a physical or sexual attack, a manipulation, theft. And theft doesn't have to be only about material goods or money, but it could be a theft of reputation. So try and think, is there a situation that happened to you that you've left yourself feeling guilty as if it was your fault, as a way to control the pain? And when you reevaluate it, can you be more clear about placing responsibility? Did you cause this unto yourself 100%? It's all on your shoulders? Or was it 90% the other person and 10% you provoked it? Or when you look very carefully at it, you did not ask at all for any of that to have happened to you. And that person took full opportunity of the situation and the timing to do whatever it is they did. And they had control. They had the power and they used it. Or maybe it was a power that they misused over you. I'll be silent now for 2 minutes while you contemplate that and reframe the event that occurred. Now notice any sensations in your body or in your emotional state as you continue contemplating this, placing responsibility where it belongs. Giving the responsibility that you took unfairly in an effort to minimize the pain, giving it to where it really belongs, to who it belongs. How does that feel in your heart, in your body, in your mind? Okay, and we can set that aside and move on to the second form of the control fallacy. In this form, we believe we have more power over others than we really do, or more power in a situation than we really do. So this is not about someone affecting us, but it's about our beliefs about how we affect others. And an easy way to think of this is when we believe that our actions or our words have full or nearly complete control over how someone else will feel. This can sometimes make us behave aggressively, overconfidently. It can also make us feel insecure and guarded and overly careful, constantly worrying about if we say or do the wrong thing, we're going to upset someone, whether it's a parent or a spouse, a lover, a coworker, a supervisor, or children. That we believe, maybe not directly, but on some level, that if we don't say the right thing all the time or do the right thing, we'll make that other person unhappy, that their happiness is fully in our control, in our hands. Such a huge responsibility, and we cannot dare to risk letting them down or making them sad or unhappy or disappointed. That we believe our own actions and words have that much power to deeply upset someone else, that it's our responsibility to make them happy in their life. Like it's all in our hands. And we forget that they have their own autonomy, that they have responsibility for how they go through life and how they respond to other people and other events. We forget that, or we assume that we have so much power. Take a couple of minutes now and reflect. Can you find one person or situation in which you've behaved that way, or that you have a recurring pattern of communication, that you walk on eggshells because you can't risk hurting them because you didn't say the right thing, and therefore you put your needs lower on the list of priorities than their needs? So I'll be silent for a couple of minutes while you think of a situation like that. And now contemplate that situation, evaluate it, and see if you can relieve yourself of that responsibility you've taken on for the other person's happiness. For some of us, there can be a moment of discomfort in letting go of the sense of power we thought we had. We might feel a little bit insecure contemplating that. Or you might feel a great relief realizing the pattern that you had fallen into. How does it feel in your body, in your heart, and in your mind now as you contemplate that? Admitting to yourself that you don't have that much power, that it's not your job to ensure another person's happiness, especially if they're an adult, and that you've been working overtime putting their needs above yours because of a belief that you have so much control and that it's your responsibility. So as you shift that belief and increase the priority of your own needs, of your own emotions, and your own voice to speak up for yourself so that your needs are met, which is completely appropriate and necessary. How does that feel to reframe the situation now? To let go of the inappropriate responsibility, to let go of the false sense of power over others, and to risk how they might respond, but leaving it in their hands, that their response and their emotions are their responsibility, not yours. And now we can set that situation aside. Take a moment to clear your mind. Just let it go. And then we'll contemplate the third version of control fallacy. And this is particular to meditation training itself and the way the mind works. That we might initially approach meditation as an exercise in controlling our mind, controlling our thoughts. That somehow we interpret the instructions to mean that if we breathe just right or focus a certain way, that we will stop our thoughts or that we will slow them down as much as we want, when we want, that we will prevent unhappy thoughts from arising, or that we will ensure only positive and happy thoughts occur. We might take that approach or that view with meditation, that we're practicing controlling our mind, especially our thinking mind. This whirlpool of thoughts coming and going inside our heads that we get lost in during, before, or after meditation in daily life. Do we really have power over the mind that way? How much have you succeeded so far, if that has been your view in meditation? Can you regularly turn off or shift your mind whenever you want? Do we have that much power? And if we reflect carefully on our progress in meditation and how each session goes, when we work at being mindful of the inhale and the exhale and relaxing the body, we remember that the instructions are not to control the thoughts, not to try to change them, not to try to make them better or different, but simply to allow them to be while we return our attention to the object of meditation, which in our case is largely the inhale and the exhale sensations. But sometimes we follow that instruction believing that it's a secret code, that it really means that if we do that and we focus enough on our breath, that our mind will stop thinking, or it'll stop thinking in negative ways. We still retain that belief. And so this is an opportunity to clarify the instruction, or to offer a reminder that no, really, the instruction is to let go of any attempt to control it, and let go of any background wish or hope that if you follow the instruction well, that your mind will finally be a better version of itself, or that it'll stop or become totally at peace or invisible. At this stage in this program, we're only meant to keep most of our attention as much as we can on the sensation of the inhale and the exhale, and fully let the thinking mind do whatever it needs to do whatever it naturally wants to do in the background. We must regard it like the weather, especially in Colorado where I'm recording this, that in the spring or in the fall, in one day we can have rain or snow or hail and sunshine. And the idea that we might control the weather that way is nonsense. We just observe, and we must take that approach with meditation at this point. That we cannot control this thinking mind. The brain is a physical organism. Our physical brain inside our skulls has processes that it must undergo. The amount of influence we might have at this stage is that by letting it be, without trying to manipulate it or stop it, there will be temporary periods of peace, that it might slow down, or that it will disturb you less often the more you're able to consistently pay attention to the sensation of the in-breath and the out-breath. That the mind will bother you less, that part of you that's trying to be present to the sensations of breathing. But that's because meditation is a way of creating causes and conditions to indirectly influence the thoughts, how they arise, how long they linger, and where they disappear, or how they disappear. How much we notice them. So if we are steady in our application of our attention, there will be increasing periods of peace and quiet that pause in between thoughts will become longer. But it is temporary. The peace is temporary. And as long as we believe we are supposed to control the mind, or that we have the power to control the thinking mind, when the thoughts become noisy again, or they move quicker through the mind, or they're more turbulent, the more we'll become disappointed or bothered or frustrated and think that we are failing at meditation. But when we release that false belief that we have full control over the processes of the thinking mind, we relieve ourselves of that responsibility and guilt and insecurity and generally feeling bad when we don't have a so-called good meditation. If we truly follow the instruction to allow the thinking mind to be as it is in the background, meaning we just give it a little bit of attention while we pay most our attention to the breath, then there's no problem. Sometimes the mind will be noisy, and sometimes it will be quiet. Some meditation sessions will be really peaceful and calm, and that's okay. And some meditation sessions will be very turbulent, and then that can be okay. And with regular practice, we feel the same at the end of the session, regardless of whether we were mostly at peace or mostly distracted, mostly quiet or mostly noisy inside our heads. This is a more profound experience of peace, of allowing fully for the thinking mind to express itself as it naturally does. Truly refraining from trying to manipulate our thoughts, to improve them, to change them, to stop them, to freeze them. Instead of all that, we really allow the mind to be as it is, just allowing it to flow through our mind like clouds in the sky. Just allowing the flow, releasing any sense of control or power that we certainly do not possess. So this is a more profound letting go. That it's only by really accepting the mind exactly as it occurs and exactly as it appears, full acceptance just as it is, quiet or in movement, still or noisy. Full acceptance just as it is. And if we get too absorbed in it, we realize that we're absorbed in it, and we let it be, and simply return our attention to the sensation of the breath moving in and out. But with full acceptance of the mind as it is. And so that is how to counter that control fallacy. By reminding ourselves of the true instructions for applying our attention, for practicing mindfulness in this way. And so now we can set that third way of considering the control fallacy. We can set that aside and simply do the practice. Feel the breath in and out. Allow your mind to be exactly as it is, without any secret hopes that it'll get better. And I'll be silent now for a few more minutes until the end of the session. And that concludes the session.